Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast presented by CVG. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Oliver Lawal of the Erlanger-based AquiSense Technologies, who highlights how their UV technology is shaping the future. And on NKY at Work, we are joined by the team at First Diversity Staffing, who highlight their staffing solutions for local businesses. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C-Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsor, Haran. We have a few exciting events coming up at the Chamber this week. First up, on Thursday, November 16th, join us for a unique workplace safety tour of Certainteed. Certainteed's facility in Silver Grove is the largest gypsum wallboard plant in North America and one of the largest in the world. Also on Thursday, November 16th, join the Florence Business Council for their November meeting at Seven Hills Church. Hear from Corey Eimer of the Workforce Investment Board and Tara Johnson-Noem of the Northern Kentucky Area Development District on resources for workforce attraction and retention. You can register for both of those events at nkychamber.com/events. I won't keep you very long today. Let's go meet our members of the week and hear from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with your guests.
Why would you travel to England?
For football.
To go or not to go?
That is an easy question.
To visit the land of Shakespeare.
To take in all the sights.
Authentic fish and chips.
To experience arts and culture.
2 words, British Open.
To visit my family.
Same reason I go anywhere. For a pint of beer. To start my trip through Europe.
Whatever your reason, there's no better time than now.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C-Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C-Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C-Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. X3P Breakthrough Coaching helps high-achieving individuals break through to the next level in their careers. Greenway Innovations is a cutting-edge medical waste treatment facility based in Florence. Excel Exchanges is a 1031 exchange intermediary committed to providing professional client service, efficiency, value, reliability, and peace of mind. Alta Fiber delivers integrated communication solutions to residential and business customers over its fiber optic network, including high-speed internet. Coming soon to Florence, Kentucky, BB Bop Asian Grill lets you create your own Asian-inspired bowl filled with high-quality food and proven health benefits. Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Oliver Lawal, who is the CEO of AquiSense. Oliver, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Yes, so you have a very cool company here in Northern Kentucky, very technical for some of us that maybe aren't in the field, but tell us about AquiSense.
We fundamentally make products that clean or disinfect water or fluids, surfaces, non-chemical. So we're using UV light to inactivate pathogens.
Yes, so why is that? Well, tell us why that's different than what maybe the standard is right now.
Yeah, so chemical treatment, we all know, you can spray bleach on something, you can put chlorine in water in your pool and in drinking water or whatever, and that acts to basically dissolve a pathogen. So it could be a virus, a bacteria, a cyst, anything like that. UV is really how nature does it. So when you get sunburn, what's happening is the light is penetrating the cell and it's inactivating it, so it can't replicate anymore. That's what sunburn is. And that's how the Earth's done it for millions of years. And we just generate those photons. Instead of coming from the sun, we generate them in a light, and then we target them a surface or water or whatever you want to inactivate. So it's a non-chemical treatment process.
Right. And there are so many applications for this technology. So kind of take us through this UV LED technology and what all it's used for.
So UV in general is already a $2 billion industry.
Right.
So it's a big thing that you've never heard of. So our drinking water here in Northern Kentucky, it's all treated with UV. Now, wastewater, before it gets discharged in the Ohio River, is discharged through UV. And many swimming pools and. What we're doing, and I worked in UV my whole career. That's what I'm kind of dull, really. That's what I did. But the first 15 years, using conventional UV technology, which is a bit like a sunbed lamp, but really, really, really powerful. So we can, if you pass the water over this lamp, and it looks like a tube, for 3 to 5 seconds, it inactivates all the bacteria. What we're doing is we're doing the same thing, but we're using LEDs. So it's a solid state technology instead of a tube technology. So it's smaller, it's quicker, it's more efficient, and has a wider range of applications. Or we can so we can come on to that about, we can do what traditional UV does, and we can also do some new things as well, because we can engineer different solutions. So one of the things you said is that your technology is disruptive and constructive in your industry. So tell us about that. So you hear about what will be a disruptive industry. You think of LEDs in general, like visible LEDs. We're disruptive. Let's say in this room, pretty sure these are LEDs. So you've disrupted, you've taken away the fluorescent tubes, and now you've got LEDs in here. And car headlights, that would be disruptive. A computer monitor is disruptive. You don't have the cathode ray tube, and now we've got flat screen or TVs. So that's all disruptive, and that's great. And we do that. So we are now doing systems, really smart systems, in a way that we think is a little bit cleverer than the traditional technology. But it's also constructive. So smartphones is an example, in my opinion, of a constructive technology or constructive product. It made the market bigger. Nobody was walking around with a smartphone with a big cathode ray tube 30 years ago. They didn't exist. We just had phones that were tied to houses. And now, that's not the only reason we have smartphones, but one of the reasons is because we've got this technology that's display technology that's really thin and flat. So now we can do new things. And that's what we're doing. We're disrupting the traditional industries, and we're doing new products that could never been done before. Yeah. For example, what is something that is constructive that you guys have been working on? Well, space. We do a lot of work with NASA and European Space Agency and Japanese space. Well, before now, all of the space station, all the moon lander, all the stuff was all chemical treatment. But it has problems. It tastes nasty. It has a whole bunch of issues. And you could never use UV before because you couldn't have a mercury tube going into space. It was too fragile and so we've been able to we're working on a number of projects, some Mars missions and some space station stuff where we're just doing things that couldn't have been done before. But that then translates into airlines. Right. Or trains, or we're doing some automotive stuff. So, that whole transportation sector where you've got vibration and that mercury glass lamp couldn't have been done before. Now it can. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of examples. I like the airline one because a lot of people, you're on a long flight, the air filtration system, people make jokes about, you're just up there in the air. And the water. The air for sure. I'll just talk about the water though. Giving out water, how heavy water, well, isn't it? Do you know how much fuel, if you fly from London to New York, where does 50% of the fuel, at what point in that journey is 50% of the fuel used? Oh, I have absolutely no idea. Somewhere over Ireland. Oh, wow. So the amount of energy it takes to get that thing off the ground is heavy. Well, imagine if you didn't have to have any water bottles. Because every plane has a water tank. By law, it has to have that. But you can't drink the water. It says not for drinking water. And why isn't there a water dispenser on a plane where you can just go to the front and fill your bottle? Because there's too many bacteria in there. And it's really hard to keep that clean. And you can't do that with mercury lamps. But you can with our tech. So we're on a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. prototype where a tech can go in there, and then you don't have to have water bottles. Yeah. So now they save millions of dollars, right, in fuel costs and all those carbon credits, et cetera, et cetera. So that's exciting in a small way, right?
You're literally right now impacting the lives of people and businesses to make them more efficient. Like you mentioned, working with NASA to do things in the future. When you're thinking about this technology, what do you think it will be able to do for us in the future?
So when you say us, I think of 8 billion people, right? So our business is global. We're headquartered here in Northern Kentucky. We're right off Milliona Pike. That's our main factory. But we also have offices in India, Japan, Germany, UK. I think that's it for now. So for the richest billion people in the world, mostly Northern Hemisphere, we're doing some really neat stuff. Airplanes, some space stuff. We're doing some pharmaceutical stuff. We can reduce the amount of chemicals they're using in pharmaceutical plants, using surface treatment, a lot of food and beverage. Every Coke machine in Europe has one of our units on now. Well, actually, it's a 2-year program. We're about halfway through. That's awesome, right? So we're protecting life. We're stopping pathogens. We're making instances of sickness less. If you can imagine, norovirus or Legionella, on a cruise ship or in a hotel, we can reduce all those things. That's like the top billion people in the world. But we can also help like the next 2 or 3 billion people. So we're opening up a factory in India, which is a huge market. We'll be, by the end of next year, we'll be millions of units per year, making a product that is inexpensive and yet still has the same quality and the same performance. So we can impact millions of lives, millions.
Tell us a little bit of maybe that lower end, maybe not the high.
Yeah, and honestly, it is tricky. One of the parts of it, I always said in our business, I never ever once lost sleep over where we can use this. Where we have to be skillful is how to execute it, because it can be anywhere. So we have these really, really inexpensive units, but high performance, high quality, where we can reach billions of people. And then we step up, we can do the same thing for water fountains in, let's say, Western offices, or every Coke machine in Europe, and hopefully every Coke machine in the US at some point.
All of the high school water fountains.
Yes. In fact, Oasis, there's 2 big companies. That one is in Columbus, Ohio, Oasis, and the other one's in the Chicago area, LK. They pretty much have the market for all those drinking fountains. Schools, airports, churches, whatever. Both of those companies we supply units to. So, when you go and take your bottle at the gym and you fill it up and the water comes out, there's a good chance it will come through one of our units. It's neat. But then also big cities, we've sold now 6 really large systems, 10 million gallons a day, these large systems to Las Vegas for their drinking water on their wells. So all the way up to large municipal systems.
Yeah.
The whole range.
Yeah. The customer range is huge. Like you said, you're impacting millions and millions of people with the technology that you have. How did you come up with this?
Well, I don't know if I came up with it. I mean, it was already a big industry. I did electrical and mechanical engineering. I'm English, obviously. In fact, my whole career is based on just this accent. Is mostly what it's based on.
You're able to convince people.
Absolutely, quite.
I don't believe that, but continue.
So I studied engineering, and I really wanted to be a racing driver and a rock star, but it wasn't good at either. So I just got hired into water, and I happened to join this company that happened to do this technology, and it happened to be growing in the 90s, and it was a big growth phase, and it was really exciting. And I love the fact that we were doing technology that was non-chemical. Look, chemicals, great, but if you can do the same thing and you can have less of an impact on the environment, then why not? In fact, I moved to Kentucky because I became president of a company that had been around for 30 years, based in this area, doing traditional UV tube lamp systems. And I really wanted to do R&D into LEDs, but it was kind of, I told you about this $12,000 system, and the equivalent system in the traditional technology would have been about $100, and I made this $12,000, and I was so proud of it. And my shareholders went, "Oh, but you're crazy, stop doing that." I said, no, this is the future. And they said, no, worry about that in the future. And I said, no, we've got to worry about it now. Anyway, eventually I said, I'm kind of stubborn. And I said, no, I want to do it. And so I had to found a new company. So I founded AquiSense, really so we could 100% focus on that in a micro way, in the same way that, Elon Musk had to start a new company to do EVs. Mm-hmm. It was very hard for Ford and GM to kind of do that. It was easier for them to follow. But so I felt very passionate, but probably a little bit stubborn, honestly. And we were a little bit early, honestly. But we're the market leader now by probably 2 times. We've doubled sales every year, probably 2 times bigger than anyone else doing what we do. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is awesome. And we're so thankful to have a company like you in Northern Kentucky doing this work. When you look at the future of your organization, what's the growth and success look like?
Oh, obviously we hire really smart people, right? Our company is about, and I'm not even remotely the smartest person, I'll be honest with you. But we hire, we've got a great factory. It's semi-automated. We've got a lot of great smart equipment in our factory here in Northern Kentucky. This year we hired 3 graduates from universities, 2 from UC, 1 from LSU. So every year we get to hire really smart people. We get to kind of bring more knowledge in, and we say, bring all the knowledge you have, make us smarter. And, we can teach you a little bit, but, so it's about getting really good talent into solving these real serious problems that we have on this planet. So that, to me, is a big measure of success. Of course, sales growth. Honestly, right now we're putting every dollar back into the business, so it's not really about profits. Honestly, it's about what can we impact? How can we impact? We're very committed to manufacturing here. Honestly, everybody else in our industry manufactures in Asia. We're the only one manufacturing in North America. And I don't apologize for that. We had to move fast, but we had to solve a lot of design problems. And I think if we can design smart problems, then we can have a more expensive labor base. But what does success look like? Impact, global impact.
Yeah. You, in the form that you fill out before you come to the podcast, one of the questions that you wanted to talk about was how you guys are changing how we manage human and environmental protection. I know you kind of touched on a little bit of that human aspect, but what about that environmental protection aspect?
Yeah, it's multifaceted. Of course, on one level, using our technology means less use of chemicals, which again, I'm not saying chemicals are bad at all. They absolutely have a place. But if we can limit them, why not in certain instances? But also in odd ways. So Mitsubishi and Hitachi are 2 big companies of ours in Japan. In Japan, anywhere really, it's water's relatively expensive and energy is relatively expensive. So if you have a bath or a shower, you heat the water, and the heating water is relatively expensive. That costs quite a lot. And the water itself costs something. In Japan, for years and years, they have this system where they recycle the hot water. So you can have a bath, or you can fill the bath, and then you can press a button, you can recycle it. And so the water's not really cold. You're just reheating it a little bit. So maybe you're just adding 10 degrees instead of 20 degrees, so it's cheaper. And they have this system for years. But it causes problems because you're really pushing bacteria around a closed loop, right? Well, they put our unit in, and now they don't have the bacteria problem in the loop. And so we're impacting, we can help save energy costs, we can help save water costs, as well as, chemical and. I could go on. We're working with a university doing a pilot in Mexico. Farmers there's a big dehydration problem in a lot of developing countries because the water's relatively contaminated. Mm-hmm. So you drink less of it because it makes you sick. Like, why would you drink it? Or they'll use more like sodas, which have got sugar in them and so on. So we're working on a pilot study in some villages, large towns really, on providing low-cost water treatment units so that people do drink. They don't get dehydrated, they don't get sick, and they don't consume as much sugar. That's not a bad thing, is it?
Yeah. And as we look at what the future could hold for us as a species with our warming planet and planet and climate change, things like this are going to become even more valuable than they already are.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I don't know if we are like necessarily feel ourselves as like eco warriors, but we are a clean tech company. And I'm not sure that we all like get up in the morning and say, you know, hey, I want to save the planet. We just love solving these problems. They happen to be problems that also are good. Like, we do good.
You, like you said, the product range and the application range is so vast. And it's crazy to hear about. I remember earlier today when I was looking at your website, I was like, I have no idea if I'm going to have any breadth of knowledge to be able to have this conversation. But it really is a very human, very tangible application with the products that you have.
It's hard to imagine a point of any part of your life that doesn't involve water, actually.
Yeah, or like
It's
surface
table.
sanitation.
Like there's anything. So, yeah. Disinfection industry, I don't know, it's everywhere. It's in everything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of our viewers and listeners today who maybe haven't heard about you ever are like, oh, wow, this is an organization that we need to get in touch with.
Yeah.
How can people get in contact with you and learn more about AquiSense?
AquiSense.com. We have a website with a secret meme page. See if you can find that.
It's very funny.
It's a bit geeky. We're just, we're on Olympic Boulevard. You can stop by. We'd love to say hi. We also do consumer products. We do stuff that goes under sinks, in RVs, so it could be something that someone wants to try. Hey, this is kind of neat tech. I've got an RV. I've got this water tank. Why not put a unit on? That's fine also.
Yeah, like I said, the range of applications is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, Oliver, before I let you go, is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers and listeners today?
No, I love this area. I'm from England. I really could have started the company anywhere, but I really like it here. It's nice.
Yeah.
And it's a nice place to raise kids, and it's, access globally is nice. So, yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, Oliver, we are happy to have you. Thank you again so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Hi, I'm Nancy Spivey, Vice President of Talent Strategies with the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. On today's At Work segment, I am with individuals from First Diversity Staffing, Bruce Smith and Kevin Versey. Tell me a little bit about First Diversity Staffing.
Very good. Well, Nancy, really appreciate you having us. I know we joined the Chamber this summer, and we have been on a whirlwind of growth. So really excited to finally get down here and spend some time with you, Kevin, in the Northern Kentucky area. The growth down here is just amazing. Each time I drive down here, I think that there's a new pocket I've not experienced yet. But First Diversity, so 20 years we've been in the staffing world, and personally, I just celebrated my 14th anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah, we've had Kevin and I just today we're talking about kind of the history, and in those 14 years, we had one very large client that we served. That's really how we cut our teeth. And we had 3 clients at the time. We now have 78 strategic partners.
Wow.
And growing, and really excited to grow in this area, for sure.
Okay, so tell me the term First Diversity. Could one of you explain, what does that mean to me?
So First Diversity was actually the name that our founder, Miguel Ten, came up with. Diversity is very important to him. And we wanted to be first. We wanted to be best in class in everything that we did. So that's how he came up with the name. And diversity certainly is not only in our name, it's what we practice. I like to tell the story that earlier this year, it was actually in 2023, we had 23 languages represented on assignment.
Oh, wow.
So very diverse, and we believe in second chances. If we just partner folks that are wanting to work with clients that need them. And then there's a lot that goes into it, obviously, but we build those programs to make it work.
And I understand you started up in Ohio and you're kind of moving around. How many offices do you have?
We have nine branches. Our corporate office is in Springfield, Ohio. We operate in 4 states now. Correction, we are now in Kentucky, state number 5.
Yay!
So yeah, and just the growth down here, we're really excited about. So again, we are in Springfield, Ohio corporately, but we have offices in North Carolina as well. So from there, we wanted to start looking at strategic partners in between. And Tennessee obviously is on our radar.
Sure.
But Kentucky, we started with a client in Elizabethtown earlier this year. A lot of growth there, and with some of the things that Kevin is doing here, and I'm blown away at everything that the Northern Kentucky Chamber stands for. The communication that you guys put out is just, I'm excited to be a part of that. So as we grow in this area, I'm really encouraged to see what we can do with your group, your organization, and how we can just enhance the community here.
And Kevin and I, we have a long history.
We do, for many years.
Right,
yes,
and I know
absolutely.
you're local here. What are you seeing different these days, and how's the partnership with First Diversity going?
Well, these guys are doing something really amazing in terms of offering lots of different programs, including support for housing, as well as transportation to and from work, and just some great jobs with great growth opportunities. So to be part of that organization has really got me excited. Plus, we also do direct hire professional staffing as well to support as a complete one-stop.
That sounds fantastic. So it's something that, for me, I know a lot of staffing agencies. I know our market seems to have a plethora of those. So, but I don't hear a lot about staffing agencies and help with transportation and housing. Is that a different model than most staffing agencies?
It is. So we needed to do something that set us apart, right? Because some markets are just saturated with staffing agencies. And that's just a byproduct of companies needing workers, right? But we saw in some markets that they were just recycling a lot of the same workers. So we really, I don't want to say we reinvented, but we're very innovative in what we do. And we do facilitate housing, transportation, just relocation services, just as Kevin mentioned. So we truly become a partner with our clients and just figure out their pain points, come up with programs and solutions that work. I would encourage anyone listening to this, even if they're a bit intrigued, reach out to myself, Kevin, any of our team members, and would love to have that conversation.
So as somebody, both of you have been in this industry for a long time, what are you seeing different these days? I'll open it up to Kevin first.
Well, first of all, there's a major shortage, just finding the volume of people. And as Bruce indicated, a lot of times there's people just kind of job hop from one job to the next. So we like to add longevity with training programs and support for people that might need second chance support, help. And we've met with several of the organizations already in Northern Kentucky to continue to build that relationship.
Great.
Very good. I would add to that we work with, whenever we present a language outside of what the norm is in a facility. So we will have bilingual associates, we have team leaders. I mean, we really invest into building teams that my priority is to help companies get product out the door, say yes to sales that they've had to turn away. And we've seen so much of that during and post-COVID, so much of that. So we've really been able to, I want to say perfect, because we can get better every day and we better get it every day. But we have really built programs that are effective, game changers for our clients.
And do you cross industries? Are you specializing in one industry, or how does that work?
If I may, Kevin.
Go ahead.
Yeah, great question. So we cut our teeth in food processing. So that is, food is really what we know. But our top three sectors are automotive, food, and plastic injection molding specifically. So really any light manufacturing, we can excel. We build programs that excel in those environments.
Great. So how does somebody find out if I'm an employer and I'm like, I really need assistance? I just give you a call? What's the best way to reach you all?
Best way would be, we can get direct information. Obviously, we're members now of your chamber, but our website would be the easiest. And of course, we have our own marketing team. They do a fantastic job with social media. Frankly, I'd love to for them to maybe take some classes here. You guys are fantastic. So, but no, we have a great team. But firstdiversity.net is our website, and on all the social media platforms we're on as well.
Great. Anything else y'all want to add?
It's just a pleasure to be here and introduce a new model to the local area, and we're anxious to help people and be successful and companies grow and just make a difference for Northern Kentucky.
I just really value the work that you all are doing and being outside the box and creative in this tight market. I think it's really necessary. So
something has to change.
Very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Really
taking the time,
appreciate it.
Nancy.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Haran, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about AquiSense Technologies and First Diversity Staffing here on the podcast today. Thank you again to our podcast sponsors, CVG, C-Crew Consulting, and Haran. Don't forget to register for this week's events. First up, our Workplace Safety Tour of Certainteed and the Florence Business Council November meeting. You can register for those at nkychamber.com/events. Finally, if you are a Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce member and you want to be featured on the Northern Kentucky Spotlight podcast, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're someone who is interested in sharing your workforce strategies and resources on NKY at Work, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen in front of you or at our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next week.